Distributor Social.
I am here at the 8th Annual North Coast Fastener Distribution Social with the new president and vice president, Larry Kelly and Jackie Ventura. Tell me, how has the event been?
Well, it's another spectacular event. We have close to 250 people in attendance. The weather's held out. 8th year in a row that we had beautiful weather, so people are enjoying the outdoor patio.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm so glad that we were able to enjoy the patio. I thought it was going to be rainy today, but it's been a great event. And Larry and I are busy selling raffle tickets. 50/50. Emerald Expositions is here, the new owners of the Vegas Fastener Show. And they have generously donated a great prize. So stay tuned to find out who's going to win that gift, as well as the money from the 50/50.
Quiero la noche, quiero la noche de amor. Dame tu mundo, dame tu mundo para mí.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. This is the online, on-demand, predominantly fastener-related podcast where we continually posit the question, ¿Qué pasó in the fastener industry? Hey everybody, Eric Dudas here, and I'm joined as always by code slinger and fastener savant, Brian Musker.
Yeah, I'm having to brush up on my Spanish momentarily, okay?
It'll be interspersed within this episode, Bri.
Okay, thank you.
A fastener and Espanol tutorial, maybe.
Well, it depends on where you were in the world. They would either call it Espanol or Castellano for Castilian.
Castellano, that's the way they said it down in Buenos Aires when I was spending time down there.
Right. Mind you, that's the sort of the way that the elite used to refer to it, because they regarded themselves as Castilians, which were the upper class people.
How appropriate for our audience.
Of course.
Welcome aboard, everybody. It's episode 105 of Fully Threaded Radio, and we're publishing this time on May 19th, 2016. Maybe asking why all the talk about Spanish. Well, we've got a couple of reasons, but our feature segment on today's episode is everyone's favorite riveter, Rosa Hearn. Now, she's with BBI, but she's headed down to Fastener Fair Mexico next month to do some fastener education and maybe sample some tequila as well while she's there.
Yes, without her father present, apparently.
You'll get the joke after you listen to the segment, folks.
All right.
Pac-West board member Clay Weaver will join us as well with news about this year's Mel Kirsner Memorial Golf Tournament. The results this year were not surprising, but if you haven't heard them, it'll be news to you. Charles Redding of BB&T Capital Markets will join Mike McNulty on the Fastener News Report. They'll cover last month's Fastener Distributor Index, and Mike McNulty is perturbed at our elected officials. So if you're a fan of his rants, don't miss his back page report today, everybody. Plus, Carmen Vertulo will join us with the Fastener Training Moment. It's going to be a Fastener Fiesta, Bri.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And joining us for that party, we've got a group of fantastic sponsors, don't we?
We do. We're very lucky. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stellfast and the Lindstrom family of companies, including Titan Fasteners. Stellfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. And the Lindstrom family of companies, including Titan Fasteners, Lindstrom, by any measure. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded Radio are Buckeye Fasteners, Fastenal, InSequel Software, ND Industries, The Worth Group, Trinity Hardware Headquarters, Volt Industrial Plastics, and joining the Fully Threaded group of sponsors is Cardinal Fasteners and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. So thanks to all of you. We look forward to your continuing connection to Fully Threaded Radio.
Indeed we do. And if you'd like to connect with us, folks, please do. The email address is ftr at fullythreaded.com. We're out there on Twitter. The handle's fullythreaded. More and more of you are listening to Fully Threaded on your phones and tablets and so forth, and we'd like to ask listeners one favor. We don't ask you for much, folks, but if you do use one of your smart devices, then we ask you to share the podcast. If you look down on the application of most of these that I've been checking out, there's a way that you can share it on social media. And as we're learning, that's a great way to help us build the audience of the podcast. So please do share it using your smartphone or your tablet.
Por favor, amigos.
See, we'll lead off the next segment of the podcast with a few sound bites from the NCFA Social, and we'll get this Fastener Fandango started in un momentito.
Que bueno.
2 men, 1 server, a fastener dog, and a stunning lack of more lucrative alternatives. It's Fully Threaded Radio.
What's the real value of Lindstrom? You probably know us as a leading specialty fastener master distributor. But what really sets us apart is a commitment to providing added value for the distributors we serve. Over the years, we've developed a solid foundation of value-added specialties, including hard-to-find products, expertise in secondary processes, in-house manufacturing, technical services, and unique inventory management programs. As we continue to expand, Lindstrom is focused on a single goal: to bring our distributors the perfect combination of convenience, flexibility, value, and choice, to be the source for everything distributors need. When you need something special, turn to Lindstrom. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded brand of value-added products and services, visit LindstromFastener.com or call a sales representative at 1-800-572-5550. Lindstrom, by any measure.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Harry, now that you use InSequel software, how do you like it?
InSequel has delivered. They truly are written for fastener distributors. It's affordable and their support staff is great.
We found InSequel's support staff has depth. They know our industry, and they certainly know their software. I see they've helped you pronounce InSequel.
Yes, but what does InSequel mean? Is it written in SQL? Is the data stored in SQL? Are they located in SQL?
InSequel uses the industry standard Microsoft SQL database, which is why it's so powerful and easy to use.
Oh, the database is stored in SQL. I don't even know where that is. I hear it's a nice place.
Harry, InSequel uses a SQL database because it's current technology and your data is completely accessible. No more expensive custom reports.
Is that why InSequel is so easy to use? Where is SQL on the map?
One of their many support members will help you answer that. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call toll-free 877-446-9775.
Hi, this is Joanne with Star Stainless in Woodville, Illinois. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
So I'm here at the 8th Annual North Coast Fastener Distribution Social, and I'm with
Cris Young, the Executive Vice President of Hudson Fasteners and the President of Women in the Fastener Industry Association.
So tell me about the social.
Well, this is a great event. This is about the third or fourth year that I've been here. It always grows in attendance, and the food gets better every year. I want to just plug that. So there's a great amount of people, local people here attending and networking. And for Wi-Fi, women in the fastener industry, it's important that we show our presence here for the other women in the industry. And Marty Nolan has led, up until this point, I believe Larry Kelly from Buckeye is now the president, and Larry and Marty seem to be working very well together. Looks like a great show. As I said, the attendance is increasing that we've noticed, and for I think it's the 7th year in a row, Marty mentioned earlier, we actually have sunshine out on the patio, so that's always a great day here in Ohio, you know?
Yes. All right. I'm here with
Brian Gorris, the Audible Company.
And Brian, what did you like best about what Emerald Expositions told us today about the new Vegas show?
The one thing I really liked was they're going to be having the Hall of Fame rollout at the show, during the show, so people can see what's going on instead of being the day before and excluded and kind of private, and it's more public and everybody can see what's going on. And I also like the fact that they're having 30-minute breakout sessions throughout the show, so if you want to see something you like, you're not really leaving the show area, you're still right there and you can learn something quickly.
Great. Those are all excellent things. Looking forward to seeing you at the Vegas show.
Plan on being there.
Denny Cowie from Computer Insights.
What did you think about the Vegas talk, where we had Emerald come in and tell us the changes that are going to happen?
I have thought for many years that the Vegas show is the best thing that we ever did in the industry, and I think that Emerald is going to add a new dimension and potential for growth and frankly, new professionalism to the thing.
Lisa Graham and Kristen Kessler.
And they really run the show, and they're going to tell me how the 8th Annual North Coast Fastener Distribution Social really was.
I think it was very successful. It's been a great run for us the last 8 years. This is our 8th year doing this, and we were at about 250 attendees, which is typically what we've had the last few years. Great group of suppliers sponsoring this event. Couldn't do it without them, absolutely. And a great group of distributors here for a nice event. I think they enjoyed it.
Yeah, we also were able to raise over $800 for our NCFA scholarship fund this year between the 50-50 raffle and another raffle we do, which was really great to see the support of all of the distributors and suppliers that come and join us at these kind of events. Really just goes to show how much everyone cares about this area, and we really all come together for a good time.
Okay. And so, Lisa, just between you and I, how's this new board?
This new board is fabulous. I've loved all the boards that I've worked with. I've been doing this, my goodness, probably close to 19 years now, 19 years. But it's always been a great group. But this is a really good group of people. Nice mix, got a lot, some of the more experienced people on the board, some of the new younger people on the board. Got a great group of people, some great young ideas, some experience with some events, knows how to run things. So I think it's a good mix with everybody here.
And I won't ask you that question because you're on the board.
I'm a little biased on that. I've been on the board for a couple years now, but as Lisa mentioned, it is really great to be able to work with some of the industry veterans and, have some of the newer, more fresh, younger blood coming through, getting involved in the different events and seeing it from the start to finish. So it's really a great learning experience.
Thank you, ladies, the ladies who really run the show.
Thank you.
Those were some of the sounds and comments from the NCFA event that happened back on May 12th in Independence, Ohio. We're going to talk a little bit more about that event and also what we learned about the future of the Vegas show.
Right.
Hey, Brian, it was good of you and the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey to come all the way from Chicago to participate.
Yeah, and so we thought we were going to come over to some nice, Ohio sun, but actually it was as crappy as it was back in Chicago. But the bright part of it was the social, NCFA Social, which was probably as well attended as it was last year, I think. It looked that way to me. I mean, I'm not too good at judging numbers, but it was a lot of energetic people there. It was good.
I would say there was probably in the ballpark of 250, so it was at or close to last year's. This was the 8th rendition of the NCFA Distributor Social. Along with you from Chicago, a bunch of stalwart MWFA people came along. Rich Cavoto, Bob Bear, Nancy Rich. That was cool.
Yeah. To me, it's a good and it's well-named social because it is a very social affair. And you can wander around and talk to lots of people. And Charlie Kerr provided a whole heap of hats to give away, and lots of other people provided all sorts of things.
Yeah, I grabbed one of those. They're very sharp hats. And, he called me a couple days after the event, and he pointed out, we give away these pocket constitutions at all the shows and events. And he pointed out to me that there's a typo in there.
Wait a minute. I couldn't find the mute button quickly enough, okay?
That's okay, Bri. Folks are used to canine incursions occasionally.
God. Okay. What was the typo in the pocket constitution?
Well, he mentioned that they were referring to amendments as articles or vice versa. I actually didn't follow up on that. I was aware of a typo in there, but, I guess I'll have to write a letter to Alex Jones. It's not us who wrote it, but it's a great resource, and we give them away at all the shows. But anyway, the point being, thanks, Charlie, for taking the time to read the Constitution and point that out to us. Right. You were griping about the weather a moment ago, and I don't know why. I don't know why, because it was very mild, and they have a terrace right off of the main meeting area, and it was very well used. I mean, people were standing out there enjoying the balmy weather and actually commenting that the NCFA event seems like it's blessed because year after year, I guess with one exception only, you've been able to do that. And especially considering the crummy spring we've had, that was very nice.
Right. And I was slightly wrong in my weather comments because my comments really related 2 days after that when it did turn to crap.
Well, that's a whole other story.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Bri, before we get too much farther into the blow-by-blow of the event itself. Do you think people appreciate the lengths we go to serve the fastener industry?
We being NCFA or we being Fully Threaded?
Well, Fully Threaded and FCH Sourcing Network. I mean, we're out there. We're not just all about pocket constitutions and fine fastener talk radio,
I know, we're about serving ourselves too. Hey.
Yes, well, that was a pretty self-serving setup that I just threw at you because I
know, but I could have said, well, we actually do have this company called Fasteners Clearinghouse.
That's right. Well, we'll take a moment. We are the guys who bring you the FCH Sourcing Network, folks. That's found at www.fastenersclearinghouse.com. It's an online resource, and you should be getting out there anytime you're looking for a hard-to-find or exotic fastener inventory item. On the other side of that coin, if you're looking to move inventory, please get with us. We'd be glad to talk to you. We'll make your phone ring. That's what the network is all about.
Yeah, and if you have NSQL software or Business Edge software, it's really easy. You just transfer all your stuff to us or whatever we let you transfer it at the click of a button, okay, instead of having to produce these pesky spreadsheets.
Yes, those connections are very cool, and we're doing some extra things with those, and we'll be talking more about those in the near future and publishing some white papers and reportedly even a video or two that explains a little bit more about the interface between particularly NSQL and their Direct Connect program and the FCH Sourcing Network. FCH, www.fastenersclearinghouse.com.
With an S, okay? Be sure of the S, because of the most people I spoke to at the social kept on going back Fastener Clearinghouse.
It's the bane of our existence, and it probably always will be, Bri.
I know.
The S is for Spanish.
Yeah, scrubber.
Actually, I don't think there's a word of Spanish on the site, unlike today's episode. But man, we're mixing the segments together. Let's get back to the S should have been for self-serving, which is where we left off on our little odyssey of commercial interest there. Right. I was about to say that the NCFA event, I think, benefited as we brought with us a sampling of the Hall of Fame bricks of episode 103 notoriety. And we got them power washed and brought them over to the NCFA event, and I think people really appreciated that.
Right. And I saw the name of one of the people we actually interviewed, Ron Sackheim, his brick there, actually.
Yep.
And I should note, I'm sure I was meant to comment about this before, but the time given to us by Emerald Expositions was also very, very useful and a very sort of positive look at, what they're thinking of doing with the show. And there's some, I think, pretty beneficial changes that they're thinking of making in line with many of the comments that people have made.
Oh, that's 100% true, Bri. And let's talk a little bit about the breakout session where Emerald Exposition VP Carolyn Sprouse presented Emerald's vision for the future of the Vegas show, because I was very impressed, fairly well attended. And, before we get to that, I'll just mention that getting back to the Hall of Fame bricks really quickly, Emerald has got their own ideas for what's going to happen to the Hall of Fame, and I suppose we'll let them make those announcements in due course. But I just like to point out that we were responsible for removing a lot of the chewing gum stuck to the bricks, because let's not forget it was previously a sidewalk of fame as well as being a hall.
Yeah, I know. Well, it wasn't actually a hall at all. It was a name, but it was really a footpath of fame.
Yeah. The Bob Endries brick and the Bruce Darling brick in particular, just coated with gum, but they're good as new now, Bri.
Good.
So the breakout session with Emerald, I thought it was really funny that after she got done presenting a background of Emerald and what they're all about and their general operating philosophy, she mentioned that the most popular or the most common comment on the survey that they put out about the Vegas show was that people complained about the welcome bash. What'd you think of that, Bri?
Yeah. Well, I actually think that was a good thing they picked up, because that's what most people gripe to us about. And it was mainly as a result of the one that was around the pool this last year, because it was actually a very sort of casual and a good place to meet up with lots of people, where you could actually talk to them, because usually you're in that big hall, a big, I guess, exposition room, but there's so much noise from everyone talking that you basically can hardly hear what anyone's saying. And the pool version was a really great venue for it. And people wanted it to last a bit longer. They probably wanted the drinks to last longer, actually, but both things would be benefit from having a little bit of length.
Yeah, I think that's true. And Carolyn said that this year they're going to extend the whole thing at least 1 hour, which is cool. And they like the pool setup as well, so that's going to happen again. Not sure for 2017, because as most of us know now, the whole thing's moving down the strip to the Las Vegas Convention Center. That's a whole nother issue. Although we did learn that the commitment there is only for 2017. And after that, nobody really knows where it's going to go.
Right. But the view sort of was that Emerald has pretty major tie-ins with places in Las Vegas, and they regard that as probably the premium place in the US to have a show.
Vegas, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's other places, but that's where they have their all their tie-ins.
Well, they've got a lot of firepower in the trade show industry, and I don't think that's going to hurt the Fastener show. I think a lot of people came away from this meeting where they were holding their judgment. I think they're excited now because I think that they can see some hope.
Oh, I agree absolutely. I think that the Emerald people, seem like they want to grow this show, okay? And that's perfectly clear, and they realize to do that, they've got to attract more exhibitors and, visitors, both of them. And they do that by making accommodation that's, more reasonable and easier to get to and more things going on. So I think it's going to morph into something pretty good.
Well, we're going to wait and see, but all indicators are that that's the case. So that was very cool. Marty Nolan, of course, was lobbying real hard to get the Emerald people out there. Susan Hurley, also of the Vegas show. Most of you know her. She was in attendance as well. That was very cool to have her as well.
Right.
I thought one of the other very interesting things that Carolyn mentioned was the way that they plan to handle international exhibitors going forward. Because as we all know, at the Vegas show, that's a huge issue.
Right. So what did you understand of what she was talking about?
Well, I'll just use a timely phrase. I think over time they intend to build a wall.
Yes, that's what I had gathered too, but I'm not sure how that is going to be to the benefit of the people from Asia. I mean, they certainly want them there.
Well, they do, but I think what they're going to try to do is market the Vegas show to them in a different way. I think they're going to try to grow that part of the business, and I'm inferring that. I don't know if she necessarily said that, but I'm under the impression that they're going to try and build that part internationally, in general, not just from one particular country, but they're going to have a global segment of the show, and then they're going to have a domestic segment of the show, or let's say a North American segment of the show. And I think that as time goes on, those two sections of the show are going to develop separately in some ways, of course, integrating very importantly and centrally. So we'll have to wait and see again, but I thought it was necessary and good that she focused on that issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, as anyone knows from exhibiting at the show, that some people have very determined views on whether they want other countries represented or not.
That is true, but the reality is that international and Asian companies are part of the fastener industry, so that's a big enchilada that Emerald is going to have to grapple with, and I guess we'll all be around to see how that plays out.
Yep, that's right.
And folks, if you're curious about exactly what Carolyn Sprouse of Emerald Exposition said during the NCFA, the good people at Fastener News Desk recorded the whole thing, and they put it out on their website. So you go to fastenernewsdesk.com, and there's a link there. I think the presentation's about 44 minutes in that ballpark. But if you're concerned, get out there.
Yep.
Hey, worst comes to worse, folks. At least you're getting an hour of extended bash time with free alcohol. So how bad can it really be?
That's true. In this industry, particularly.
That's about all we're going to say about the Vegas show. But regarding the Fully Threaded Radio show, there's much more to come. But we're going to take a break now. Or is it a siesta?
Siesta. Yeah.
And we'll talk with you in just a minute.
Fastener Talk Radio. It's like feng shui for the fastener industry. Brian and Eric. Fully Threaded Radio.
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations, from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries. Innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
First, there was fire, and man said, "Fire, good." Then there was the wheel, and man said, "Wheel, good." With the invention of the wheel came the need for fasteners, and man loudly exclaimed, "Buckeye, good." Buckeye Fasteners, providing quality products since the dawn of man. The preceding message was brought to you by Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company, proud Fastener Show sponsors of Old Rusty Bolt Beer, official beer of the Traveling Salesman. Tell them Grog sent you. Ugh.
The leading event for fasteners and fixings in Latin America takes place June 1st and 2nd at the World Trade Center in Mexico City. Connect with thousands of fastener and fixing buyers at the Fastener Fair Mexico 2016. Fastener Fair Mexico is produced by Mack Brooks Exhibitions, the leader in international fastener shows and organizers of the Fastener Fair in Stuttgart. This will be the second edition of the Fastener Fair Mexico, and as the only dedicated fastener event in Latin America, it is sure to be a huge success once again. Fastener Fair Mexico is the perfect opportunity to grow your business by reaching new prospective buyers and partners from Mexico, Latin America, and beyond. Whether your business is focused on automotive, aerospace, construction, electronics, or household appliance manufacturing, Fastener Fair Mexico is where you need to be. To exhibit, contact the Fastener Fair Mexico team at 781-791-5011. Mack Brooks also invites distributors from across North America to attend this exciting show. To receive an invitation to attend Fastener Fair Mexico as our guest, please join our mailing list at www.fastenerfair.com/Mexico. Once again, www.fastenerfair.com/Mexico. We look forward to seeing you June 1st and 2nd at the Fastener Fair in Mexico City, and bienvenidos to the North American fastener industry.
I don't have time to look for the best price for a socket head cap screw zinc plated with a patch.
Solution Man can. Let me handle all of your secondary processes, and I'll even ship the finished product. One price, one purchase order, one invoice, and one shipment equals one solution. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Solution Man, you're my primary source for secondary processes.
Good one.
This is Gary Plipnick from Fastenal. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Brian and Eric, your online fastener amigos, back with you. Fully threaded.
Yep.
Con carne.
Yeah, actually, I was just reading all about how to make proper al pastor tacos, okay? And it's quite complicated. That's why most people can't do it right.
Oh, but when they're done right, they are good, man.
Oh, I know. That was the whole basis in the Tribune this morning about how to actually make them, al pastor. So I read that rather than all the main news about the world.
Yeah, it's too depressing. Although there is one good piece of news I think people will be excited about, and that is that the Fastener Training Institute has announced that along with us, the Fully Threaded team, will be offering our Certified Fastener Professional Scholarship once again.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Good. Worthwhile.
We were just talking about the Vegas show. The announcement will be made there. Of course, in between now and then, we've got to get the word out officially on this. And we've got hopefully a lot of entries to review, or Sue and Lynn will do that, and get the whole process going again.
Closer to the time, we'll give everyone details, but it's a great award for someone who's, needs to learn about the industry and the details, and it's worth, if you're higher up in the company, sponsoring one of the new entries in your company.
You are correct, sir. We'll have details on that on episode 106 and subsequent episodes of Fully Threaded. But the big news, once again, is that the Fastener Training Institute Scholarship will be offered once again in 2016. Hey everybody, the Fastener News Report's coming up in mere moments, and a news item that came our way via Twitter. Saw this fly by, it was way back at the end of March, but I thought we'd point it out nevertheless. Pac-West seems like adding several honorary members all the time to their roles, but I guess they have a lot of outstanding candidates. They added as honorary members of the Pacific West Fastener Association, Bri, your buddy Bruce Darling and Mr. Bob Lehman. How cool is that?
Good. Well, I hope Bruce very much enjoys his retirement, okay? And can turn up at a few meetings just to see what's going on and help people.
Well, he would have done that without the honorary membership, I'm sure, but congratulations, Bruce and Bob.
Yep.
Well, Bright, the Pacific West Fastener Association always finds a way to make it into the news, don't they?
Well, they do.
because we have one more item of interest for you, everybody, and that is last episode we announced that the upcoming, now biennial, Pac-West golf outing, otherwise known as the Mel Kirsner Memorial, took place on May 13th. That was out at West Ridge Golf Club in La Habra, California. Here to talk to us about that, reveal the exciting details, the winners, the losers, the trials, the tribulations. It's Clay Weaver of Industrial Threaded Products and a board member for the Pac-West. Clay, thanks for joining us on Fully Threaded.
Eric and Brian, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's all right.
Now, as I understand it, there were a handful of board members in attendance at this year's event, and a few of them were actually participants as well. You were among them.
It was a wonderful event as usual. They put on a nice little event, and I'm always glad to partake of it.
How many attendees were out there on the links this time?
Well, we had a fairly decent turnout. There was 47 in all.
Wow, that's plenty.
One no-show, so I tried to get a fill-in at the last moment, but didn't happen.
Yeah, that always hurts when you're short one on your team in those scramble formats.
Yeah, we make it work and give them an extra. We call it the fourth man, so somebody filled in.
Of course, this year there weren't all that many surprises, were there? Because when you reveal the identities of the first and second place teams, I think people who follow Pac-West golf regularly will, they won't be surprised. Why don't you lay it on us?
Sure. Yeah, so we finish out the tournament. They, of course, had prizes for first, second, and third finishers. And like you said, there was no surprise, at least on the first and second finishers. There's always a group of people that get out that are avid golfers. And this year, again, first place was the Truckee brothers with Cal Fasteners, and their team was propped up with Bob Porteous and Bob Reynolds within sequels. So,
see, I told you.
Three Bobs and Joe.
Yeah, you could sort of nearly say that's unfair, couldn't you?
Yeah. But they came in with a final of 62, so they were 10 under.
Wow.
And they took home the first place prize. And then no surprise in second place again, right behind them was the Pacific Warehouse crew, Kelly, Tracy, Lehman, and Edgar Huerta and Bill Lusky. And they came in with a 64.
Oh, that was tight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. So the third place finisher was a surprise. It was my coworkers and I, the ITP team, Garrett Futrell, our CEO, Dustin Card, and Alex Vong and myself, and we finished out with a 66. So we were only 6 under.
Well, that's not too shabby, Clay, considering first and second. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a close little competition, but very few surprises. We had a lot of pretty good golfers in the group, so we just had a fairly lucky day and got to be included in the group of the top finishers.
What kind of a day did you have for the event?
Well, it was beautiful weather. I would say it was probably somewhere in the low 80s at the highest. Very, very little wind, so it was nice.
We dream of days like that over here, okay?
Yeah. The one reason that we probably all deal with California is the fairly advantageous weather for golf, just about 365 days a year. So
it's probably just as well for the Midwest. We don't have anything like that. There'd be never get any work done.
So not a surprise there weather-wise for Southern California. How about this year's Fully Threaded Mulligan Award? Who took home the grand prize of the 30-pack of Bush?
Well, that was none other than good old Kelly Lehman with Pac Warehouse.
Whoa!
Yeah. So I tried to reach her for comment this morning, but apparently she hasn't been into work. So
yeah, or can't get into work.
Yeah, exactly. No, I talked to her this morning to confirm she was a winner, and she's really excited about it. So thanks for donating that to the cause. It was really, really nice of you guys to do that. So.
At this point, it's really our obligation to the industry, Clay. Well, congratulations to Kelly for double dipping in the fabulous cash and prizes.
Yeah.
Anything else worthy of note that happened that we should know about? Any other stories you'd like to share about this year's event?
Well, let's see. Kelly did actually win the long drive again, and she won the closest to the pin as well. So she pretty much almost had a clean sweep.
Oh.
The only other, I think, one of our group, Alex Vong, our director of finance, won the longest putt. So other than that, the Pac-West family, Pacific Warehouse family, took home just about everything they could have. So,
wow.
Well, thanks for updating everybody on that. I know it's kind of a fun thing. People like to keep track of what goes on at the Mel. I think he would have approved.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have. He had some of his family there in attendance, his son, and it's always good to see them come out and support a worthy cause. Of course, obviously the proceeds of the event go to the Terry Canvas of Life, and they do some really great work for autism and such. So it's good to be part of that.
Yep.
Good to hear. And congratulations to you on joining the board of the Pacific West Fastener Association. You're among some heavyweights over there. I know you'll be contributing and doing a good job as well. So keep us posted on developments.
Well, thank you. It's really been an honor. I'm been privileged to work with some extremely smart people and people that I have a lot of respect for. So don't know how I got thrown in there, but it's been a wonderful, road so far, and look forward to another year and a half of learning from them.
Good. We look forward to it too. Maybe Eric and I'll get over there sometime.
That sounds
like
good.
That. It's a fun group, the Pac-West group.
Clay, as long as we have you on the line, we mentioned you're with Industrial Threaded Products based out of Santa Fe Springs, California. What's happening out there? What are you guys seeing? What should we know?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing. We actually have moved. Originally, we were in Santa Fe Springs, but we're in Brea now, our corporate headquarters. We also have 4 other locations in California: Rancho Cucamonga, Fresno, California, and Union City, California. But we're enjoying another record year and launching some new products. We just did a rebrand and a new website. Encourage people to check it out at itpbolt.com. We've got a little information about what's going on with the company and our vision for the future. And, some new products coming out. Primarily, everybody thinks it's a threaded rod, but we do carry a full line of coupling nuts, both grade 2 and grade 5, sided, hot dip galvanized from 1/4 inch up to 2 inch diameter, and about every variation you can think of. So, but we're hoping to have another record year, and looking forward to new products and hopefully new things coming out every quarter.
Got it. Well, thanks for the update. And of course, ITP is also the site of the 3rd place 2016 Mel Kirsner Memorial Golf Outing Trophy. So yet another reason to stop out there.
There you go. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me, you guys. It's been an honor.
That's all right. Our pleasure's ours.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it, Clay. Hey, everybody. The Fastener News Report is brought to us today by Volt Industrial Plastics and Fastenal. Here's Mike McNulty.
Thanks, Eric and Brian. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. At the beginning of this month, we passed the 6-month anniversary of our fearless president putting his signature on the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, the toothless law which wiped out all limits on the national debt. So while many eyes are focused on the majesty and the tomfoolery of our future leaders, our elected money grubbers in the nation's capital have thrown another $1 trillion onto the national debt pile without much fanfare. The frog may be boiling in the frying pan, but I am still focused on fasteners, ready to deliver today's Fastener News Report. In today's report, we're going to reveal the latest numbers on the Fastener Distributor Index, also known as the FDI. Also in today's broadcast, we have a top story from Groovepin International, and newsmaker headlines from Beacon Fasteners and Components, the IFI, JIS Division of Juergens, B&G Supply, the Washington, D.C. Metro, and the Las Vegas Fastener Expo. On the back page report, we're going to talk about steel overcapacity. We'll get to all of that and last month's FDI results right after this.
Whether you need a small or large number of fasteners, there is no reason why you should have to sacrifice quality or service for that matter. Volt Industrial Plastics takes great care with each and every order to ensure you receive a quality fastener in a timely and affordable manner. Our state-of-the-art production equipment allows us to produce any quantity you request quickly and efficiently. And with same-day shipping on nearly 1 million in-stock fasteners, we carry an inventory so you don't have to. Visit us online at voltplastics.com to find out more about our quality American-made products. Volt Industrial Plastics, manufacturer of the finest plastic fasteners in the world.
Cardinal Fastener is your source for high-quality made-in-the-USA bolts from 3/8 inch up to 4.5 inch diameter. We can forge a wide variety of materials, including carbon steels, alloys, high nickel alloys, and stainless. And our in-house tooling center, heat treat equipment, and A2LA quality labs give us total control over every part we produce for faster lead times and superior quality. Call 844-CNL-BOLT for a fast, competitive quote. And remember, if it's critical, it's Cardinal.
I need 5,000 3/4 10 by 9 and 3/4 grade 8 zinc yellow tap bolts right away, but they're not a standard size.
Solution Man Ken. I carry a wide variety of sizes and I can quickly cut them to any length. See Solution Industries' website for details at solutionind.com.
Using your bare hands?
I do use a saw on smaller parts, actually.
Back to the Fastener News Report with Mike McNulty.
In April, the FDI moved up again to a seasonally adjusted number of 47.9, a solid gain over last month's result of 46.1. Fastener Distributor Index is collected and analyzed by BB&T Capital Markets, the FCH Sourcing Network, and the National Fastener Distributors Association. The FDI seeks to identify demand, pricing, and outlook trends within the American fastener distribution industry. To get some insight on these results, Charles Redding, Senior Analyst at BB&T Capital Markets, joined us. Hi, Charles. Thanks for joining us today on the Fastener News Report.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me.
So the FDI moves up for 2 months in a row after hitting bottom in February. What's your take this time?
Yeah, so we did get a sequentially stronger read for April. It was the second consecutive month for modest improvement coming off what we thought was a notably weak February and March. Again, we're measuring sentiment on a sequential basis, so relative to March, again, asking participants, how did April sales stack up? We think the uptick is consistent with Fastenal. The company reported April, a sequential increase for April of 1.7 versus March, and February was a trough for sales at Fastenal at negative 80 bips on a sequential basis. April pricing on the survey was also higher versus March, which we attribute largely to the steep recent increase in steel pricing. Last check, steel was up 16%, and anecdotes from our private contacts suggest that another round of price hikes could be in the offing. And in terms of the 6-month outlook, that was modestly encouraging in our view as well, with 53% of respondents now expecting better conditions 6 months out. This versus just 37% in March. And then in terms of deliveries, inventory, and employment, these metrics were essentially unchanged.
Yeah, the 6-month outlook caught my attention too. After in the March report, it was probably one of the lower ones. We had almost even distribution of better, same, and lower. Does that tell you anything in particular?
You know, it is encouraging. I would note that we do not include the sentiment in the index because it is a rather subjective measure. But I will say it is at odds with what a lot of fastener contacts continue to say. We continue to get really negative anecdotes from a number of our contacts. Just in terms of the overall number, the headline number, again, it's nice to see the improvement. We would note that the results from early 16 we thought were notably weak. Sales metrics aren't overly compelling, but at least they are higher versus March. And again, Fastenal talked about demand really falling off sharply in late March, but yet April did see a modest improvement. So we think the result that we're seeing here is consistent there. In terms of the uptick in pricing, a number of participants certainly commented on the steep increase and the impact that steel is having, a quote, ripple impact or ripple effect across the fastener industry. We do think it's more about the higher commodity pricing and less about fundamental demand. Probably a little early to know what the net impact on May results will be from that, but we'll certainly be watching closely. And then you certainly mentioned the outlook. Again, our contacts are really cautious here. Some have already hinted at a more substantial summer slowdown, and we believe the overall macro picture remains very much mixed, which we can speak to later.
Yeah, so the jump in the outlook was nice, but since it's subjective, it's probably not a turning point that we've reached.
I think that's a fair assumption or a fair characterization. Certainly in terms of macro, domestic construction really remains the positive talking point here. We've certainly seen a nice number of beats from our companies with the non-res construction exposure. Certainly Dodge momentum remains higher, and even construction anecdotes in Canada have been relatively positive, at least for those not directly tied to oil and gas. In terms of residential construction, this continues to bump along nicely. Single-family starts in March were up another 22%. Permits were up 13%. Bottom line, really, we have no reason to expect a more appreciable pullback in construction metrics here for 16. However, aside from construction, I would characterize, again, the overall macro environment is notably inconsistent. Data really has yet to signal any trends, any clear trends to support a stable demand or elevated or substantiate the elevated valuations for our relevant equities at this point. We've talked about industrial production. This has declined sequentially in 6 of the last 7 months. It's off another 60 bits in March. The PMI is over 50 now, plus 50 in April, although headline PMI and new orders did decline sequentially versus March. And again, not to be overly cautious here, but we're still getting the negative anecdotes from our private contacts.
Mm-hmm. Now, as you know, when people fill out these surveys, they're invited to submit comments, and my favorite this time was summer slowdown is coming. Dust off the warehouse barbecue grill. And other comments included a prediction of a second half resurgent and unexpected price increases in steel, like you mentioned, which the steel increase is interesting to me because there is overcapacity in the global steel industry right now. So I don't know how that all shakes out.
Yeah, it'll be certainly interesting to see. We're getting the cautious anecdotes there, but also to the positive continued strength, strong anecdotes for automotive. Certainly we know that remains a bright spot for distributors and manufacturers with exposure there. We saw the April volumes for new car and light truck sales up another 3.6% over last year. We're on track for over 17 million vehicles sold annually. That would be the second straight annual sales record for the industry. So clearly benefiting from the dip in crude, and that's certainly having a nice impact for those guys.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. Well, interesting times. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next month to see if we'll continue the increases or if we'll get knocked back down.
Without a doubt. Certainly let us know. Feel free to give us a call if anyone would like to chat or has any questions.
Very good. Well, Charles, thanks for joining us today on the Fastener News Report.
It's been a pleasure.
That was Charles Redding of BB&T Capital Markets, and the FDI number for April was 47.9. To participate in this process, visit www.fdisurvey.com. Now for today's top story. Groovepin Corporation will celebrate its 90th birthday this month on May 20th. The company was founded by E.H. Shinewind in Long Island City, New York in 1926. A patented press-fit fastener called the Groovepin was developed there. Since the early days in New York, the company's grooved pins have been used by famous companies such as BMW and Boeing, as well as by multiple firms in the medical, electrical, gas, firearms, and defense markets. In the 1950s, threaded inserts were added, and acquisitions followed in the 1990s. Also, on the hiring front, Groovepin's Smithfield, Rhode Island facility welcomed 2 new employees last month. Adelis Reynosa Perez and Sofrath Kett are both recent graduates of the New England Institute of Technologies, Shipbuilding, Marine Trades, and Advanced Manufacturing Institute, also known as SAMI. They joined 2 other SAMI graduates, Joseph Johnson and Benjamin Louisa, who were hired by Groovepin after completing the program last year. In addition to the Rhode Island location, Groovepin also has facilities in New Jersey and Georgia. Next up, today's Fastener Newsmaker headlines. Beacon Fasteners and Components of Wheeling, Illinois is expanding its thread forming line again by stocking high salt spray full tri-lobe threaded forming screws. The Industrial Fasteners Institute, based in Independence, Ohio, held its annual meeting in Phoenix, Arizona last March, and it held officer and board elections. The newly elected chairman for 2016-2017 is James B. Springer of Industrial Nut Corporation, and the newly elected vice chairman is Preston Boyd of Tramek Hill Fastener. The board of directors is rounded out with Dave Lomisny of McLean Fog Company, Jonathan Turner of Turnisher, Kevin Johnson of Birmingham Fastener, Manny DeSantis of Valley Fastener Group, Mike Lawler of Consolidated Aerospace, Pat Wells of the Young Engineers, Larry Valeriano of California Screw Products, Phil Johnson of Continental Midland, Ed Lunn of Shannon Precision Fastener, and Chris White of O&K American Corporation. The 2016-2017 division chairs for the IFI are Division 1 Industrial Products, Michelle Clark of Valley Forge and Bolt. Division 2 Aerospace Fastener Products, Mike Lawler from Consolidated Aerospace. Division 3 Automotive Industry Fastener Group, Chris Rink of Prestige Stamping. And for the Associate Suppliers Division, Luke LaCapella of VACO Rolling Mills. JIS, a division of Juergens Incorporated in Cleveland, Ohio, has purchased certain assets of B&G Supply of Akron, Ohio. B&G has been supplying Northeast Ohio customers for over 40 years with tooling, abrasives, and fasteners. JIS is a distributor of metalworking products representing over 300 different manufacturers. Washington, D.C.'s Metro line will begin a surge-style repair program starting this June, which will include replacement of 36,000 track fasteners in 1 year, followed by the installation of 18,000 new fasteners annually for the foreseeable future. The National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo in Las Vegas has awarded Bruce Wheeler, chairman of Star Stainless Screw Company, as the 2016 inductee to its time-honored Hall of Fame. The Las Vegas Expo is also recognizing its first ever Young Fastener Professional Award, given this year to Ryan Curtis of Stelfast. A joint award recognition ceremony will take place during the show in October. Finally, let's turn to the back page to talk about steel overcapacity. The fastener industry consumes large quantities of steel wire, rod, bar, and strip, so it is not immune to the market forces and unintended consequences of government intervention into steel production and pricing. The current state of overcapacity in the steel sector is widely believed to be driven by China's aggressive steel production expansion. My take is that this is simply the fruit of the Chinese government's toxic combination of communism and unbridled crony capitalism, softly peddled by its proponents as a socialist market economy, one that is actually endorsed by American politicians and loads of naive and ignorant scholars on American college campuses. Does anyone bother to study history or economics anymore? The U.S. Department of Commerce recently said this about steel. Quote, globally, excess steel capacity has more than doubled from 2000 to 2014, led by unsustainable expansion and capacity by China. At a time when steel demand is weakening worldwide, global steelmaking capacity is expected to grow throughout 2017. North America, which experienced modest growth in steel demand over the last 2 years, saw steel production decline while the volume of imports increased over 40% the last 2 years. Steel industries are experiencing lower profits and thousands of job losses, and price dumping charges are widely reported. Surprise, this is what happens when you do business with economic manipulators that the common rules and standards necessary to make free markets, capitalism, and competition work. The American Wire Producers Association made some recommendations to the Trade Division of the United States Executive Branch, including negotiations to reduce Chinese steel capacity and to remove Chinese government subsidies, border tax schemes, and currency manipulations. These are all great points, but I have zero confidence that any of our egomaniac and agenda-driven government leaders, present or future, can or will implement any fruitful actions. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International bringing you the Fastener News Report. Remember to send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at mcnulty@fastenertech.com.
Who's your favorite riveter? If you said Rosa Hearn, you're in luck. She's up next on Fully Threaded. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting fastenal.com today.
Hello, this is Bob Baer, President of the Midwest Fastener Association, inviting you to join us this year on Tuesday, June 14th in Chicago, the heart of the fastener industry, for our tabletop show. This year our show will be held at the Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village. Whether you are exhibiting or just an attendee, you can plan on an intimate and relaxed show atmosphere where you can meet with suppliers and customers. Although we are labeled a tabletop show, exhibitors include fastener manufacturers, heat treaters, platers, and other fastener service companies from all over the U.S. Immediately following the show is our popular bash, where you can enjoy a cocktail and network with friends in the industry. Finally, join us Wednesday, the day after the show, for the industry's largest fastener golf outing held at Schaumburg Country Club. Even if you don't golf, come on out and join us for dinner and networking. All of the details of these events and show passes can be found on our website at www.mwfa.net. Hope to see you there.
Well, hey, everybody, this is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute. Today, I'm not coming to you from the Carver Fact Center in San Diego. I am in San Antonio for the ASTM F16 Fastener Technical Committee meeting. Lots of important things going on here. Most of them matter to most of you. And when we come back, I'm going to tell you what we did and some details on the actions that were taken. So stay tuned for the rest of the Fastener Training Minute.
Thanks, Carmen. This is Joe Morris with the Fastener Training Institute. Fastener Training Week comes to Chicago this year, August 22nd through the 26th. The Midwest Fastener Association will host this premier event that's co-produced by both FTI and Industrial Fasteners Institute. Class size is limited, and we do expect to close registration early, so please don't wait to register. You can contact Nancy Rich at the Midwest Fastener Association or myself for registration details. Our May 20th webinar is Your Fastener Technical Library. Carmen Vertullo presents this brand new webinar where you're going to learn about how to get some of the best free technical resources to supplement your library. Carmen's also going to show you how to use these resources to put them to work in your sales, marketing, and quality management programs. This is a great webinar. Don't miss it. And another big piece of news from FTI. For a third year, we'll partner with FCH and Fully Threaded Radio to award a scholarship to our acclaimed Fastener Training Week. To qualify, candidates must work in the fastener industry and submit a brief essay on the importance of product training. As in previous years, there will be one scholarship winner, but all candidates submitting essays will win a free FTI Fastener Training webinar. The winner will be announced at the Las Vegas Fastener Show. Lastly, we still need webinar sponsors. There's great value in your sponsorship, and you also contribute to the education needs of our industry. If you'd like more information, please contact me. Our website is fastenertraining.org. Please visit us for our complete schedule and course details. Now back to Carmen for our Fastener Training Minute.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, at the ASTM F16 Fastener Technical Committee meeting. Several important things happened at the meeting here, one of which, if you're into structural bolting, you know that we have had a big new structural bolt standard called F3125, which is designed to replace all the other structural bolts standards such as ASTM A325 and A490 and their accompanying tension control bolts. So that has officially happened. That vote has passed. Those older standards are now been withdrawn, and F3125 is now the predominant structural bolt standard. There are a couple other structural bolt standards that don't fall within that, but they're relatively new and still obscure, have to make their mark. As well, one of the committees that I sit on is the Committee on Quality Assurance, and we have decided to establish a new ASTM standard for quality assurance documentation. If you were at the FTI webinar on that topic, you know that that's something I'm heading up, and now that's an official action. And I'd like to just say to anybody who uses or generates quality assurance documentation, if you're interested in helping me out with that, send me an email to carmenv@carverem.com and get involved. You don't have to be an ASTM member. So those are two of the really important things that happened. Another thing that wasn't a technical thing, one of the longtime members, Quentin Smith of ASTM, was honored with the ASTM Award of Merit. So if you know Quentin Smith, please congratulate him. It was a big deal. And ASTM, when we have these meetings, it's not all technical. It's a great group of people. We have a lot of fun. Anybody's invited. You can come as a guest. So if you're ever inclined to come to an ASTM meeting, please do it. Next one is in Orlando in November. We generally meet in May and November. And if you need to come as a guest, let me know. I'll be happy to tune you up and get you involved. It is a great learning opportunity. These meetings tend to be technical in nature, so, it helps if you have a technical background. But if you don't, this is the place to get one. And as always, the Fastener Training Institute's programs, especially the Certified Fastener Specialist program, we lean heavily on standards and teach them in some detail. So that's one reason as well to get tuned up on fastener standards. Well, that's the Fastener Training Minute coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, talking about ASTM. Signing off, Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute.
This is Tracy Lumia of Distributors Link magazine, the #1 publication in the fastener industry. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, back with you on the online Fastener Hacienda, Fully Threaded.
That would be the online Fastener Estancia, I would think. Otherwise, we're sitting on the house.
Well, you might be right, Brian. But I'll tell you who knows a little bit better than either of us. And that's our guest here today on the podcast. Everybody knows her. We know her as Rosa La Magnifica Hearn with BBI. Hey, Rosa, you're out there?
Hola, caballeros. ¿Cómo estás? Thank you for having me.
De nada.
Actually, I thought you'd be, what's the Spanish word for riveter? And you Rosie the Riveter.
Rosa la Remanchadora.
Remanchadora, okay.
Yes, and we do have our YouTube channel is also in Spanish, so you'll see a lot of me in there.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you how you came up with that moniker, Rosa the Riveter, because I see it here and there on LinkedIn, Twitter, and so forth. But let's get everybody situated with who you are in case they haven't heard the name. And, of course, we tangle it up with a whole bunch of Spanish lingo there. But you are Rosa Hearn. You're with BBI. And what do you do for BBI, Rosa?
I am currently the product manager for the preferred rivet line. BBI started a preferred line, and so I was very excited to find out that I'm in charge of the preferred rivet line. So how I got my name, Rosa the Riveter, or Rosa the Preferred Riveter, is that a lot of people that I like and I listen to are pretty much in Twitter. And so I decided to be on Twitter, and I needed to come up with a handle. And I said, I have no idea what to come up with. And my husband said, that should be easy. You're Rosa the Riveter. You're Rosie the Riveter. And I went, oh my gosh, I didn't even dawn on me. And I've been using it ever since. So, so far so good.
Right. It's very appropriate. Okay.
Now, you've had an illustrious career with Brighton, though, right? You were doing something different before. So with the new riveter duties, does that remove you from what you were doing previously, or help us understand that?
Well, I've been with Brighton for 7 years, and within the 7 years, I've had 4 jobs. So my previous job before that was running the Mexico and Latin America division for them. However, because of the preferred rivet line that started to grow and started gaining traction, it became a full-time job. So I gave up those duties, and now I'm full-time Rosa the Riveter.
But who's going to be sending me my invitation to the BBI Bash? It's always come from you.
I will still be happy to invite you. All you have to do is say my name, and you feel free to walk in. So.
That's how I know I'm welcome in Las Vegas. I get my little invitation from you every time. I'm thinking, well,
yes. As long as I'm still with Brian, you're welcome to join in to our party anytime.
Right. Well, we hope you stay there for a long time then.
Well, you are the face of BBI for a lot of people, and just correct us if we're wrong, but you're still based out of the West Coast, right?
Correct. Yes. Born and raised. I don't think I've ever left the neighborhood until I was 21. So.
But does that mean that you're not heading south of the border to take care of business down there as a daily thing, or?
Well, my last trip is actually going to be for the Fastener Fair Mexico, which is June 1st and 2nd, and that's technically going to be my last trip. But for the past 2 years, because I was handling Mexico, I literally went there all the time. Like, I think I've seen every single pyramid in Mexico that there is. So.
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say that this has changed a lot of what you do. So, okay, this is a big change for you.
Huge change. And, I was so grateful to be part of that because, being Mexican is my culture. It's where I came from. And to the fact that, I got, immersed in it. I got to see places. I mean, so many, my parents are jealous, because they just love Mexico. So it was a great time for me.
So did you grow up speaking Spanish or English or both?
Technically, Spanish was my first language. My dad was very adamant about we needed to speak Spanish. When I was 8 years old, he made me read the Spanish newspaper to him. And, then I had to recite to him what I read, and then I had to write an essay about what I read. And when you're 8 years old, you're crying, I didn't really like my dad at the time. But because of him, I mean, so many opportunities happened to me. So I'm really grateful, and, I love my dad.
Right. Well, there's no question that the ability to speak Spanish as well as English is a huge advantage at the moment and in the future as well.
Yeah, but business Spanish is way different than, the Spanish you learn at home. I mean, try learning how to say threaded rod in Spanish. Try learning how to say, A325 nut or bolt or whatever it is in Spanish. It's a whole different ballgame.
How do you say fully threaded in Spanish?
Rosca completa.
Cool.
That's good.
Got that down, right?
We need to get to you to record that. That's actually good. Yes, I remember I spent a few years in Germany, and I didn't really learn much in the way of ordinary, conversational German, but I learned all business German. So I could sit in meetings without translators, but I could hardly ask anyone how they were once we got outside the meeting.
Yeah, you can't go to a bar. What good is it?
I know. I had that same problem in Naperville and Chicago here too, I think.
Yeah, trying to order a Budweiser, they couldn't understand. Hilarious. Rosa, what would you say is the biggest difference in the fastener business between the north side and the south side of the border?
You know what? What's happening in Mexico right now is what happened to us in the 90s. So they're just getting a big, huge boom right now. I mean, more than 60% of the population are under 25 years old. So it's just going to grow, and education is more obtainable now. Even though technically 60 million people are still under the poverty line, it's such a fast-growing location, it's going to just boom.
So in terms of the fastener industry then, is Mexico in general, do you manufacture fasteners there, or is it a place where you sell fasteners?
A little bit of everything. Mexico in itself is very loyal to the Mexican brand. So if they're able to do it domestically, they will buy it domestically. Yep. Even if it's a crappy item, they will try very hard to buy it domestically.
It's probably not that much different to the U.S., though, in that respect.
Right, the Buy American Act and, U.S. products.
Yeah.
What about the distribution model as a whole, though? How do you compare that to what's going on in the States? Or maybe is that where we were in the 90s, too? No, it can't be. I mean, with the big master distributor model, that's not what's happening there, is it? Of course, here you are working for BBI. Silly question.
Right.
So other than us and, maybe a few others, the reality is people mostly import themselves and then sell it to the end user. So it's very hard for somebody who is just selling to distributors to get in, because most people are selling it to the end user.
Okay, so given its size and everything, is Mexico in general, does Mexico supply to other places in Central America, or do they all work entirely separately?
In a way, they work separately. For most places, like Mexico would rather get it from Costa Rica. Mexico would rather get it from other locations because it's easier logistically to get it than sometimes in the U.S. But for the most part, they will buy from the U.S.
Okay.
There are a lot of U.S.-based companies also that post-NAFTA have opened branches down there. A bunch of them are guys that we know and we see at the Vegas show every year. I mean, what kind of waves is that trend make for you?
Actually, it doesn't make a whole lot of trend. My job was to actually support the Mexican distributors already there, and anybody that is pretty much an American base going over there, we support them. We give them classes in Spanish. We, give them literature in Spanish. So there's a lot of support. But most of the time, the American companies are actually buying it from the U.S. companies and then transferring it themselves into the Mexico location.
Interesting.
Well, we don't pretty much get into automotive, but automotive is actually growing really fast in Mexico. It's probably the number one industry, and it's going to be roughly like 5 million in production by 2020.
Well, Volkswagen's got big facilities, has had for years, hasn't it, down in Mexico?
Right. Everybody's always expanding. There's a lot of factories out there because they make different parts. Not all Volkswagen locations make, the motors or makes the wheels or makes, the carburetors. Every division does something differently constantly. So every location is just different.
So more variety, an interesting way of running everything, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously what's big in Mexico is, home appliances, automotive, aerospace, even the food industry, honestly, people that make, refrigerators or conveyor belts or, restaurants, because the population's just growing.
Right.
I'm really surprised to hear you make the comment about automotive, though. Not that automotive is booming there. My point is that every time you turn around, you hear about something else being done in Mexico, and therefore I'm surprised that more fastener distributors aren't running out there to support that. Are you saying that automotive is generally buying direct, and so therefore there's no need for distributors?
No, what's happening is that, so 1 in 5 vehicles are pretty much produced in Mexico. Okay, that's kind of what's happening. The problem with it is that they don't have the infrastructure for it. In other words, the roads are not there, the railroads are not there, so it doesn't matter how many they produce or how many they're moving along, because they don't have the infrastructure to support it. So it's kind of boggling down. And so even though things are booming and things are growing, they're still kind of playing catch up because of the infrastructure.
Got it. Well, that's got to be a kind of an important and exciting driver for all of that. So no pun intended. But I guess if this trend continues, and we're going to see a lot of that infrastructure follow along with the manufacturing that's happening.
Right. But for the most part, Mexico's doing really well. I know you hear about, a couple of things about Mexico's being bad and corruption. And yeah, that's actually a big issue. Even the president himself said, it's not a priority for him. But for the most part, it's kind of a nice place to go.
Well, we're going to talk about Fastener Fair Mexico, which is coming up. It's a Mac Brooks show happening June 1st and 2nd in Mexico City. Before we get to that, though, I'd like to ask you just in general, we've been talking a lot on the podcast, and let's face it, the whole fastener industry has been abuzz about the price hikes that have been coming out of Asia and China in particular, these announcements rolling out in the last several weeks. What are you seeing in Mexico or other places? What's your perspective on all that? You talk to a lot of people.
Well, the fact that, the oil has declined in Mexico and the dollar is actually sky high is not really helping them a whole lot. I think I looked at it today and it was 18 pesos to the dollar. And so that's a really a struggle for them, because something that, is really cheap for us, it's actually really expensive for them.
Mm-hmm.
And with the prices of steel going, is it 60% higher from the beginning of the year? It's probably cheaper to import it than it is to actually do it domestically.
Does Mexico, I never even thought of that, does it actually have areas that are steel mill producing areas?
They do, a lot actually.
Oh, yeah, see, now I learned something. I wonder why I wouldn't even know that before. So,
but no one goes there.
Well, okay. Right, so they can't really use their own domestic production. They have to import it. So they're in the same problem as everyone else.
Right, so the point is, though, I guess the bottom line on the question is that due to what you just described, people are forced to buy from where they're buying, and that's just the facts of life. So we're all seeing price increases. Is that fair?
Yes, that's fair.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Fastener Fair Mexico, because you're going to be heading down there, and you're doing a couple things, aren't you? One of them being, I think you were telling me you're doing a breakout session entitled Fastener 101, which sounds suspiciously like a tutorial. What do you have lined up for everybody down there, Rosa?
Yes, Professor Hearn.
Well, a whole team of us is going from Brighton, so we're really excited about that. And we decided to do, BBI in 2014 launched an education initiative. And so we decided to bring it into Mexico and do it in Spanish. So what BBI would normally do in every regional location, it's teach the basics, and mainly the basics of what we carry. But we pretty much translated everything. We double-checked everything, and we're actually going to teach it. So that's going to happen on June 2nd from 11 to 1, and we're going to touch a little bit about everything. So wish us luck about that. It's actually our first one, so.
Wow. So were you part of the translation?
It's pretty much me.
I was going to say, so you are the translation.
Yes, but I'm actually not going to be the one teaching it, mainly because since I don't do Mexico anymore, I just thought it was appropriate for the new people and the new team to actually do it. So, they're prepared. They're actually really excited, and I think they're going to do a great job.
Okay, good.
Well, that's very cool. Good luck to everybody involved on that. It's always an exciting thing to prepare one of these breakout sessions, having gone through it myself a few times, and you're all excited to see who's going to show up, how many people you'll get, and I'm sure it'll be great, and you'll come away with it having learned a lot, and the next time around it'll be even better. So good for you. Now, in addition to Fastener 101 at Fastener Fair Mexico, you're also promoting Wi-Fi, aren't you? And this is the first international foray for that group, is it not?
Yeah, so according under Wi-Fi's guidelines, we're able to do all of North America, which includes Canada and Mexico. So we're going to do Mexico, since I'm already there and, the whole team is coming, they can pretty much spare me, and I'm going to be working in the Wi-Fi booth the whole time. So we're really excited. We're going to be in stand L34. BBI is going to be in stand 529, and just come and see us. We did everything in Spanish. We did the applications in Spanish. We're doing everything in Spanish, so.
For folks who've been living under a rock, Wi-Fi stands for Women in the Fastener Industry. How long have you been around now, Rosa? Has it been 5 years or so?
The Wi-Fi group?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe it's actually on its 6th year.
So then, Rosa, my limited knowledge of Mexico is in line with many of the Spanish-influenced countries. The women carry a subordinate role to the men, okay? So how do you see Wi-Fi being appreciated by some of the people turning up at the show?
Well, I think a lot of women are more involved now. It's not that women are, lesser than men over there or anything like that. It's more like they're more protective. They want to make sure that, you grow up properly, you behave, you don't disgrace the family. And, being an owner of a fastener distributor company or being, a businesswoman, it's not shaming anymore. So it's something that people are proud of. People can go out and do it, and people are excited about it. Because it's hard being a woman in Mexico, for that matter.
Oh, no, it always has been. So is there increasing ownership of by women of companies in Mexico?
Yes, and the reason for that is because the government gives them discounts. So even if you're a male, you actually put it on the wife's name to get that discount.
Oh dear, that would be a problem. Yeah. So, okay.
Well, if you look hard enough, you see women-owned businesses here too, Brian. So that's...
Yeah, no, I'm meaning having to change your ownership. But you're right. It's not much different here.
Point is, the culture is changing, as it seems to be everywhere else in the world, and just having the Fastener Fair Mexico down in Mexico City is kind of a change, and we wish you and everybody attending, of course Mac Brooks as well, the best of luck with this. We will be standing by for an on-the-floor report, Rosa, so hopefully you'll accommodate us.
Well, you'll probably see a lot of pictures on Twitter, so you can follow me at Preferred Rivets during Twitter.
Now, everybody, that is spelled Proffered Rivets, P-R-O, not preferred, Proffered, which is a little bit of a twist. But yes, Rosa, we expect to see those photos out there on Twitter. Now, I happen to know that you're one of the elite connoisseurs of fine single malt Scotch whiskey in the fastener industry. How's your knowledge of the mezcals? Since you're down there, you'll possibly be able to partake.
Well, I just started getting into them. Basically, it's just another family of the tequila. So it's the cousin. It's harsher, it's richer, and it's more powerful. So it's just a little bit of getting used to. So I'm going to try to get used to it. I don't see a problem with that.
My view is if you can find a really good quality mezcal, it's miles better than tequila.
Right. Well, being in Guadalajara, I actually traveled to the city of Tequila, which is roughly 2 hours away from Guadalajara. And, they have this huge process. We're talking about, how they cook it, how they clean it, how it's tested on the lab. And what I pretty much learned about that is the lighter the tequila, the cheaper it is. The darker the tequila, the more quality it is. So you would think, people drinking, blanco tequila or, the white tequila is actually, good. It's pretty much used for mixing more than anything instead of sipping.
Yeah. Yeah, I found a really nice aged tequila, mezcal at one of our local shops here, and it is, many of our neighbors have appreciated that, okay? It's a beautiful drink.
As long as you can carry, 3 liters, you're good to go. So you can bring it and take it as much as you like.
That's a lot of mezcal or tequila.
I hear that, probably even more reason to head down there.
Yeah, I know.
Say, Rosa, in all my years of pretending to speak Spanish, I've never come across a word that describes that, not so good feeling people sometimes get the morning after they've sampled too many tequilas or mezcals. What would the word be for that? How would you describe that feeling?
I don't know if I can put it on radio.
We hit a good one, Bri.
Oh, yeah. How about dolor de cabeza?
Well, that means headache. You know what I mean?
Far too tame.
I think my dad would be embarrassed if I said it out loud. So.
Okay, fair enough. We don't want to discredit anybody or dishonor anybody.
Well, okay, so there's 2 words. The correct way is anacueto, meaning like, he's pretty much drunk or wasted. But if you're really drunk or if you're really wasted, then you say it's either pedo. So, and that, my dad, cover your ears. Sorry.
Okay, right.
Ouch. I obviously couldn't appreciate that, so I'm going to have to do a little investigation. I'll have to come to your neighborhood, Bri.
Yeah, right.
Well, all I could say is, Rosa, I know that you're not going to be either of those 2 things, June 1st and 2nd down in Mexico City. Why? Because you're just way above all that, and you're seasoned. You know what you're doing, so enjoy yourself. Do a great job. Thanks so much for joining us to tell us all about it.
All right.
Gracias y adiós a los dos. Thank you.
De nada. El gusto es nosotros, ours.
Nuestros.
Okay.
Rosa Hearn, BBI, Wi-Fi, Preferred Rivets out there on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
We'll be right back with more Fully Threaded Radio.
Online Fastener Talk Radio. Hey, at least it kills time on long road trips. Fully Threaded Radio.
Why do distributors turn to Lindstrom? Because we're committed to being the source for everything distributors need, including packaging and manufacturing. If you need less than bulk, packaged product off the shelf, or custom packaging, Lindstrom has it all. Ask about kits, assortments, and our new VMI Bin Pack program. Whether you need special lengths or thread pitch, altered parts, studs, or manufactured parts, inch or metric, large parts or small, Lindstrom has you covered. We also manufacture special washers in addition to sockets, bolts, and nuts. Need a prototype part? Call Lindstrom. As the leading specialty fastener master distributor, Lindstrom is focused on a single goal: to bring our distributors the perfect combination of convenience, flexibility, value, and choice. To be the source for everything distributors need. When you need something special, turn to Lindstrom. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded brand of value-added products and services, visit lindstromfastener.com or call a sales representative at 1-800-572-5550. Lindstrom, by any measure.
Since 1905, Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company have been supplying the world with high-quality fasteners. Our standard product lines include weld fasteners, braided weld screws, leg levelers, self-clinching hardware, clevis pins, rivet nuts, and various other fastener lines, allowing us to support virtually all types of industries. We have complete custom manufacturing capabilities in low carbon, medium carbon, and stainless steel materials, and our quality systems are registered to ISO standards. Our on-staff engineering department can assist you with product development and provide total technical support. Our knowledgeable sales team members offer superior customer service and are here to answer any questions you may have regarding our products. Having a hard time finding a part? Let our sourcing specialists do the work for you to locate those items. We offer competitive pricing with typically smaller minimums and shorter lead times. To find out more about Buckeye Fasteners, please call us at 800-437-1689 or on the web at buckeyefasteners.com. Buckeye Fasteners, more than just weld.
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations, from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
My customer sent me a print for a bolt specifically for the machine in his shop, but we can't make it.
Solution man, Ken. Provide me with the print, and my superhuman CNC machining team will custom make it for you faster than a manufacturer's rep drinking at an open bar. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Wow, that is fast.
So are you at the Distributor Social, huh?
Hi, this is Mark Klosik with Vertex Distribution. I'm here at the Fastener Show in Chicago, and I listen to Fully Threaded Radio.
Well, Bri, that was about as bilingual a segment as we've had before here on the podcast.
That's true. And I thought you would have done a little more editing to take out. There's one comment I made that sounded like terribly misogynistic, but it wasn't meant that way. It was meant to indicate my, experience that, Hispanic or Mexican, mainly Hispanic societies are sort of pretty patriarchal. And so Rose is telling us that that's changing in Mexico.
Well, that's just a fact of life. Of course, that doesn't stop a lot of people from taking offense, but I get your point.
Yeah, it wasn't really intended that way. It just came out sounding that way.
Speaking of Spanish, on another subject, what's the difference between paprika and Spanish paprika? It's not a riddle.
Isn't it? Oh, yeah, I know. Right. I think Spanish paprika is like smoked. I mean, that's how they prepare it in Spain, I think.
Huh.
Sometimes they call it smoked paprika.
Well, I bought some by accident the other day. I was doing some barbecue, and man, it definitely added some caliente to that rack of ribs.
Well, it also adds flavor. I mean, I think paprika is usually sun-dried, but the Spanish they smoke it dry.
Well, Maybe Rosa Hearn knows the answer to that. I should ask her.
She probably knows it much better than I do.
She's Mexican, not Spanish. I appreciate that, folks. But, hey, work with us. And let's thank Rosa Hearn of BBI for joining us on the episode today. Good luck to her down in Mexico next month.
Right.
Also, Clay Weaver of Industrial Threaded Products and the Pac-West joined us, as did Mike McNulty and Charles Redding with the Fastener News Report. And, of course, I can't forget Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute. Good job once again, Carm. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast and Lindstrom. Stelfast, for service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stelfast. And Lindstrom. Lindstrom, by any measure. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded are Buckeye Fasteners, Cardinal Fasteners, Fastenal, Fastener Technology International, InSequel Software, Indie Industries, The Worth Group, Trinity Hardware Headquarters, Volt Industrial Plastics, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. You can reach out and contact us anytime, folks, and we hope that you will. The email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com. We're also available via Twitter, where the handle's Fully Threaded. Of course, we thank you, one and all, so much for listening into the podcast, everyone. It means a lot to us.
Right. If you think anyone else you know might be interested in listening to a podcast about fasteners, make sure you share it with them, okay?
And frankly, who wouldn't?
Of course, but we're biased a bit, okay?
We're going to wrap up the episode today with a little bit of a change of pace, shifting gears here.
Oh.
Yeah, we're prone to do that, aren't we?
Yeah.
One of the long-running themes on this podcast has been iPhones and Apple products in general, I suppose. You're kind of a disciple, I guess you'd say.
I am.
I'm agnostic, although I do have an iPhone, and I think they're very nice. But in any event, we've talked about it quite a bit on the podcast, and of course we're all about threaded fastening. So we wanted to mention that there was an article that flew by on fastenernews.com a couple weeks back, made a note of it here. Headline, Don't Screw with Apple. Did you see this one, Bri?
I've seen that and numerous others like it, yeah.
Just read a little bit of the article here, folks, so you can get the flavor for it. Apple's new MacBook has a feature that will allow the company to know if you've been messing with the device, writes Oliver Vandervoort of theinquisitor.com. The hinge on the lid uses tamper-evident torque screws, complete with a compound that disintegrates when someone uses a screwdriver on them. Quote, this means that if you attempt to change the look of this new MacBook or fix it yourself, the company will be able to tell if you then try and send it in for warranty-covered service. You wouldn't do that, would you, Bri?
Oh, no. Actually, I would say that undoing the screws is the least of your worries, okay? Because I did actually undo my phone when I left it out in the rain and I couldn't get it running. So I thought, Apple's going to tell me to go and get stuffed. So I might say that once you've got the screws open, the daunting array of wires and cables that you have to disconnect and then try to reconnect with fingers that are not 1/8 of an inch in diameter is horrific. So,
well, I can imagine, and I was going to ask that same question. Who the hell is taking their phone or their MacBook apart in the first place? I mean, who does this?
Me. Actually, on the phones, Apple have been so used to dealing with phones that have been dropped in the toilet mainly that there are 3 little places inside it that's sensitive that goes bright pink if it gets wet. So when you wander up and say, oh, yeah, I've never had a problem, and it just stopped working, and, of course, they open it up and see that it's been dropped in the water, then they sort of know whether they can fix it or not.
Right. Well, this is another attempt at something similar, this time affecting the threaded fasteners, which is why it caught our attention. Now, the photo that it adjoins this article, it's got a picture of these things, and I don't know exactly how you describe it. You probably do, but this is some kind of a multilobular screw head. How do you refer to this thing?
Well, it looks like actually a regular 6-lobe thing, but my knowledge is Apple went to the 5-lobe ones, especially on the phone anyway. And it looks like it's got a thread-locking compound stuck around it.
And then they fill it in with some kind of a disintegrating compound.
Yeah.
They don't say if it's toxic or not.
Yeah.
That would really be a way to turn people off from tampering with it, right? Just put some ricin in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Apple gets, like in any company, is the same. You know, they get given some pretty screwed up machines for warranty claims on the basis that never went out of someone's sight, and you can realize that clearly something horrible happened to it.
Right. Well, maybe we'll have to find out who's manufacturing these screws for Apple and get the full lowdown on it, but that's going to have to wait for a forthcoming episode of Fully Threaded Radio. And, congratulations, Bri. I think we did a very fine job of cleansing the palate after all the Spanish being slung around here during the episode. Good job. Not that we have anything against Spanish.
No, you're right. Yeah, once upon a time I used to speak it.
But for now, we're going to say episode 105 of Fully Threaded Radio is in the can.
Right. Adios.
For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Get out there, sell some screws, and we'll talk to you next time.
Hasta la vista, everyone.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.